Welcome to NRC, Central University of Kerala, for the course Curriculum Designing and E-Content Development. Today, we are going to see about the E-Content of what and E-Content of why. This module focuses mainly on the what aspect and why aspect of the E-Content. The required element for developing an E-content such as the benefits, need and importance, sources, evolutions related to the E-content are going to discuss hereunder. The type of E-content with the specific authoring tools will take the learners to create the E-content in the due course. The pedagogical issues which are important to understand the how aspect of E-content also going to be discussed, because the learners must be taught how to suitably identify the pedagogy according to the need and nature of the content which we prefer. The heart of the E-content is nothing but the instructional design is also kept in this module which you are going to see. Above all, the E-content must be structured in an appropriate content so as to deliver to incline the learners. Hence, the module of the E-content are also given in the module along with the quadrants of 4 concepts required. The learning process in the 21st century learning has got enormous metamorphosis, especially in the nature of the content. The learning which was happened inside the 4 walls has been transformed into open nowadays. The credit goes to the E-content based on the computer, network and multimedia technologies. Although the E-contents dependent on the technological gadgets, they add value to the subjects through their multimedia in nature. Moreover, some of the E-contents are interactive in nature also. Therefore, the development of E-content is very useful, creative and effective. E-contents is needed for the hour, especially in the 21st century classroom. Importance of E-content. The boom in the technological revolution has influence in the different industries. The education is also one of the industries where the need of E-content is also very much important. The learners are already competent in handling technological gadgets in the day to day life. The interest, need, aptitude, attitude and the nature of the students keep changing according to the exposure they get through different technological gadgets. The hours that the students of the past spent are not equal to the present students. The distracted nature of the present day students is also more due to the technological boom. Thus, the entertainment, effective, variety and multidimensional based contents are required nowadays. Hence, the development of the E-content being is very crucial and important concept of the technology of education and technology in education nowadays. Moreover, the concept of technology such as virtual reality and augmented reality are adding effect to the development of E-content, which can give original exposure and original feeling to the learners. Since the mobile applications and Windows applications are freely available, a teacher himself or herself could develop the E-contents like anything. The nature of the learning differs according to the area and level of the learners. Hence, the E-contents with that of the corresponding qualities are very important. Thus, it is now we justify that there is a need to develop more number of E-content in the present context of the learning, especially in the teacher education. Benefits of E-content. Apart from the education sector, E-content are invariably used in many industries. The E-contents used to bring many revolutions in the film, business, agriculture and so on. Every industry is thus moving towards the use of E-contents through internet as the outcome to both on campus and off campus program. The E-contents are important for the distance mode of education also. There are some important points which justify the importance of using E-content based on its nature that we are going to see one by one. Multi-access. Unlike the availability of a teacher in the classroom, the availability of e-content is many. The e-content can be accessed through internet, intranet, CD-ROM, mobile, computer, laptop, tablet, etc. The access of the e-content does not have any boundary and it is available for 24/7. Speed. The instruction and comprehension process are very rapid through e-contents. The learner's performance in integration of information with knowledge, skills and attitude will also be very quick. Functionality. The coherence of a lesson from start to stop will be perfect where there is no chance of overlapping the concepts. The links, glossaries, references would also be appropriate according to the contents that the students will redirect learners to appropriate resources. Variety. The e-resources are giving vast information to the learners and the required knowledge are available as a combination of images, video, audio, animation, graphics and text. The eclectic nature of the content gives the feeling of variety to the students. Storage. The storing and retrieving of the e-contents are possible through e-content galleries or e-content modules. Beyond the storing capacity, the learner can study at their own pace and the content does not confine with the classroom, time, age, subject, exam, etc. Challenges and issues entailed with e-contents. Regarding the challenges of e-content, the lack of qualified and competent teacher is the great challenge. Although the qualified teachers are available abundantly, the teachers with script writing knowledge for making e-content are limited in number. The teachers with the integrated e-competence and subject competence are meager in number. Yes, it is happy that India occupied third position ahead of Japan in internet search and e-resources in one of the studies, but only 14% of e-learning is found among 74% of literate people of India. Even though the educational institutions offer distance mode of education is ready to offer e-contents, the learners also must be in a position to access and use the e-content. The expensive tools like server, personal computer, scanner, copier and proprietary software are also another challenges to the development and delivery of e-content. Most of the e-contents are available only in English language, whereas the availability in the regional languages need to be triggered. The lack of formal training, teaching hours, face-to-face interaction is also another great issue in terms of e-content. The original exposure of handling equipment is also another issue of the e-content. Even there are some flaws, the e-content has its own value in the 21st century learning. Evolution of e-content. The Dublin core, which was started in the year 1994, is a metadata aspect intended to make easy discovery of e-resources used in museums, libraries and government agencies, etc. The foremost aim of Dublin core is to make framework for the web resources. The EDUCOM consortium, which is the re-nomenclatured as EDUCAUSE of United States Institution of Higher Education and their partners established the standard specification for metadata for online learning in 1997. National Institute for Standards and Technology of US Department of Commerce and the Institute of Electrical and Electronic Engineering, which is a professional organization of New York, began the same type of endeavor in the year 1997. Though the collected informations from the review of related literature, it is identified that they are the real pioneers of the e-content development. Open educational resources creation initiatives at international level. UNESCO SALIS. The UNESCO SALIS is a collaborative project of the Society of the Advancement of Library and Information Science and UNESCO. The project aims to increase the awareness and enhance the information literacy, competency, skills of South Asian sub-region. MIT OpenCourseware. Massachusetts Institute of Technology MIT is the most popular in the institutional open educational resources movement. Over 2150 course materials have been dedicated for free of cost by MIT. OpenLearn, the university's distance education providing free access to their university course materials. This website has an option of flexible navigation by visually impaired challengers too. Instead of surfing the page, they can listen the same content through audiobooks which was posted on XML pages. Authoring tools that determine the types of content. The content authoring tools are different in nature, which we are going to see one by one. Scrum, AICC, Prometheus, Ariadne, ADL, AISL and LTSC. Scrum. Scrum stands for Shareable Courseware Object Reference Model, which produces small reusable e-learning object through a set of specifications to the course content. AICC, Aviation Industry Computer Based Training Committee. It is a type also can be applied to the development of and delivery of and evaluation of e-content training course to the technology. Prometheus, it is stands for Promotion Multimedia Access to Education and Training in European Society, which involve in promoting access to knowledge, education and e-content training for their European citizens. Ariadne stands for Advanced Research Infrastructure for Archaeological Data Set Networking in Europe, is a European Union project involved in the development of tools for producing, managing and reusing the computer based pedagogical aspect. ADL, Advanced Distributed Learning Initiative of US Department of Defense, has its own guidelines needed for the efficient and effective e-content learning. LTSC, Learning Technology Standard Committee, has also prepared technological standards and guidelines for the use of e-content component in education. Models of e-content development. Generally, there are 5 different models of e-content development. Models are available, which we can see one by one. The most popular model for the e-content development is KEM 1997 model. It defined the 9 core elements for the e-content development, which are as follows one by one. The one is determine the specific goals and also identify the potential instructional issues. The second one, identify the characteristics of the learner that should be taken into account during the planning process. The third one is clarify course content and analyze the proposed task component in relation to the stated goals and purpose of the course. The fourth one is defining an instructional objective and deciding the learning outcomes. The fifth one is ensuring the content for each instructional unit, which is structured sequentially and logically to facilitate learning. And the sixth one is design instructional strategies to enable the individual learner to master over the content and achieve the desired learning outcomes. The seventh one is planning for the instructional messages and the appropriate mode of delivery. The eighth one is developing an evaluation instrument suitable for measuring and assessing the learner's progress towards the achieving course objectives. And the last and final one is choose the appropriate resources that will support both teaching and learning activities. The another model of Vernon and Donald model 1980, which has proposed media in a systematic approach through combination of different instructional design model. In another model, Dickey and Carey proposed by 1990 put forth a systematic design of instruction model with instructional goals with a summative evaluation. Cisco model by 1999 found some strategy on the system reusable information object and suggested the phases of introduction, important, objectives, prerequisites, scenarios and outlined with the learning management system. The last model is Serena model by 2005 explained the content based model based on the learning objectives of content and the content's accessibility and the content's reusability between various learning content management systems. Now, let us move to the instructional design. Each lesson should be matched to one or more learning outcome in the curriculum specification. The introduction section should give a short overview of the lesson and act as a set of instruction to motivate the learners to the lesson. The content or concept or skill or learning section should be based on the learning theories that will enable the learners to be mastery over the concept. Then explanation should be kept to the minimum. However, should be more information be acquired, an option should be made available. The activities that elicits the response from the learners should be used as much as possible to engage them to learn. The approach should always be that of learner should be guided to discover or construct the concept or skill. The practice or activity section should contain guided exercises. These exercises should elicit the responses from learners as much as possible and not merely show animated explanation. The test and evaluation section should have the following features, which we are going to see one by one. The first one is variety of question type, not limited to the multiple choice alone. The match, drawing, drag and drop, fill in the blanks answers can be used. The questions should be chosen, must be randomly be generated by the system itself. The templates for word questions should not be reused. Pedagogical issues in the content development. The study of practices, processes, strategies, procedures, methods, approaches and techniques of teaching and learning is called pedagogy. It is also deals the knowledge about the goals of instruction, assessment and learning. Since the stated components are mandatory for the content, there are some challenges of incorporating these pedagogical principles in developing e-content as follows. Making the knowledge noticeable to learners is difficult, making the instructor thinking observable to the learner and making the learners thinking observable to themselves, their peers and the teachers. Thus, the pedagogical aspects of the e-content subject to the pragmatic constraints, for example, time, class size, linear textbook, but a planned e-content could overcome many of the stated constraints including dictionaries, references and links. Features of e-content. E-content is generally designed to make the students for the self-instruction and self-comprehension. The e-content acts as a teacher in the virtual learning environment. The degree of learning is not only depending on the amount of information and video, rather it depends on how the content is presented. Each frame of the e-content is designed to bear and execute the specific task. The text, video and audio of the e-contents are the extension of the brain, eye and ear of the human respectively. The coordination of mental framework would be accelerated through e-contents based on the amalgamation of the stated element. If it is reduced the disparity among the learners based on the perception of learning, the variety of the e-content collectively approach students which give no room for the distraction. The metacognition aspects are accelerated by the e-contents based on the metadata through links, references and activities. E-contents include both online and offline learning process such as e-forum, SMS, MMS, search engines, links, references, meta search engines, advanced searches, e-dictionaries, e-books, e-magazines, e-journals of the online aspects, MS Word, MS Excel, MS PowerPoint, PDF and CD-ROM of the offline aspects. Now, let us move to the production stage of an e-content. You please ascertain that we are preparing an e-content for the 25 to 30 minutes of time. There are some strategies and steps to be followed. Each session consists of 4 hours or it can be considered as an half a day. The one is basic briefing of the subject expert regarding the orientation for e-content development is of half a day or 4 session. The second one is studio setup and audio and video recording is of half a day are also called 4 hours. The third one is preparation of animation, graphics and digitalization, minimum it required 16 hours. Post production, especially video programming, will take 2 days or 16 hours. Preview, correction and certification of video program for 2 hours. Recording video program of final media will take 2 hours. Down converting and chunking will take 2 hours. E-content integration in template and platform validation 16 hours and preview, correction and certification of e-content is 4 hours. A typical e-content production consists of 4 quadrants which we are going to see one by one. The quadrant 1 specially meant for the e-text. Text should consist of at least 8 pages or maximum of 3000 words with a detailed write up on the selected topic of the module in RTF or document or ODL format. The number of words or pages must be sufficient to make the topic narrative and clear, such as that independent learning is also possible. Language must be very simple. Topic should be presented in a systematic and logical manner. The module must consist of the following element: self-check exercises, examples and application from day to day life if applicable, illustration may be in the form of images, maps, graphics of 2D and 3D, appropriate URL must be given wherever required, latest developments and trends must be used along with that of a summary. Text format. The text may be divided into sections, subsections wherever necessary, the subsections. Fonts. We have to format the text using a Times New Roman or Arial font with size of 11 font and maintain uniform font size and style through the text by single line spacing, and sequential page number must also be assigned to the module. Formatting section, subsection and subsections. The first section should state clearly the objective of the work, its scope and the main advances reported with brief references to the relevant work. Style, spacing and numbering. For numbering, the section 1, 2, 3 can be given to the titles by Times New Roman bold. The subsections should be numbered as 2.1, 2.2, 2.3 in Times New Roman italics. For the subsection, the number must be used in Times New Roman italics as 2.3.1, 2.3.2, 2.3.3 so on. Next we let move to quadrant 2, ease of self learning, audio and video. The content delivery through video to explain the topic is an essential component of each module of e-content development. It may include multimedia, animation, documentary, simulation, virtual lab, etc. An appropriate technique must be used. The video must not be like a spoken tutorial. The audio narration, voice over the text mentioned in the presentation slide. Clear visual description as well as the text is required. Training demonstration, illustration of example, case studies, documentary, etc. should be added wherever applicable or possible. If the content writer or domain expert is not fully acquainted with art of creating multimedia and graphics, in such cases the content writer should describe his or her multimedia requirement using a storyboard. The duration of a video should be of minimum 30 minutes. The video tutorial explains the topic of a module. It should be initiated by the content writer or expert. The writer or expert must appear in the video, generally not less than 25% of the total time of e-content. Rest of the time may include in between section, subsections or during display of graphics, animation, PPTs and other relevant visuals. Video timeline may carry writer's expert voice. The expert or writer whose video is being recorded should look straight into the lens and talk to the camera. The format of video must be MPEG-34. The quality of video should be 720 into 576 pixel and 25 frames used per second, 450 TVL resolutions, 450 Mbps for incorporation of the template. The audio has to be clear and of greater quality. Must be ensured that there is no distracting background noise. The equipments used should be professional one. Presentation. The presentation may be a part of video. The format for presentation would be PPT, that is PowerPoint presentation program. During the presentation program, avoid using long blocks of text. Use preferably bulleted points. Use fonts like Arial, Veranda, Helvetia, Mirad Pro, etc. Use font size not less than 20 for clear visibility. Add graphics and images as much as possible appropriately. Now, let us move to quadrant 3. Quadrant 3 meant for learn more aspect, web resources aspect and supplementary materials. Learn more quadrant is all about the supplementary materials of respective module in different forms. These may be in the form of books, articles, research papers, journals, case studies, etc. The links to websites giving additional readings, Wikipedia, blogs, open source content, etc. Glossary. Quadrant 4. Quadrant 4 meant for self assessment. The content writer or expert should provide minimum 10 to 15 questions for each module in one or more of the following type: multiple choice question with answer and true or false statements, one or more. Hope you would have understand the concept of the benefits, need and importance, futures, types of content that is very mandatory to get mastery over the development of the content. Especially the 4 quadrant which have been revealed in the study will be very much useful to prepare yourself as a great expert to prepare any content of any subject. Once we follow seriously and meticulously the content and procedures which we have been revealed will make you to be a typical content expert. Thank you.